To tonight's meeting. We'll start off with the consideration of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Otto,
Aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman, Pittman,
Aye.
Knighton.
Aye.
Next up, then we have the consideration and approval of the minutes from the November 3rd and the November 12th meetings. Is there any questions on those minutes?
So moved. Second.
Any further comments on the minutes? Clerk will call the roll.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman,
Aye.
Pittman,
Aye.
Knighton,
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Next up, then we have consideration of approval of the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Any other comments on the consent calendar? Clerk will call the roll.
Friesman,
Aye.
Pittman,
Aye.
Knighton,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Lumley.
Aye.
Business of the mayor, we just have one thing on the business of the mayor tonight, that's the proclamation for American Education Week. You guys want to come up and introduce yourselves and tell us what's going on?
Pretty much.
Right by the little table.
Yeah.
Yep.
My name is Janisha Garden. I'm a special ed teacher at the middle school.
And I'm Angie Holzer, I'm a Spanish teacher at the high school.
And we here are representing the association for the teachers and just making it known that this is American Education Week. So,
Elaine, you always have the question. You have any special activities planned for the week?
Well, sure, take my question.
We didn't jump in fast like Phoebe jumped right in.
A little too fast on that last one.
Sorry, go ahead.
you might hear some public service announcements on KCHA if you are tuned into that. Some of us did some recordings for the radio, treats at the schools. That's about it.
It's kind of a weird week to like do things to feel like you're celebrating yourself. It always seems like, you know, for teachers to host. But, yeah, the treats this morning were fabulous. Just treats to think everybody.
Yes, and not just teachers, but everybody. I mean, it
Okay.
takes everybody from bus drivers to cooks to paras to janitors, everybody, so.
Even school board.
Exactly, yeah.
Any other questions?
I would move to approve.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Pittman,
Aye.
Knighton,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
I will come and read the proclamation. Whereas public schools are the backbone of our democracy, providing young people with the tools they'll need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality. And whereas by equipping young Americans with both practical skills and broader intellectual abilities, schools give them hope for and access to a productive future. And whereas education employees, be they custodians, teachers, bus drivers, librarians, paraprofessionals, secretaries, principals, or lunch staff, they all work tirelessly to serve our children and the communities with care and professionalism. And whereas schools are community linchpins, bringing together adults and children, educators and volunteers, business leaders and elected officials, a common enterprise. Now therefore, I, Dean Andrews, Mayor of Charles City, Iowa, do hereby proclaim November 17th to the 21st, 2025 as the 104th annual observance of American Education Week. So we've been doing this for a while, yes, but I guess education is an ongoing thing. So we appreciate all the school, all the school staff, what they do for our kids and helping them to be, good, productive and responsible citizens as they grow older. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Right, next, then we have a street closure request for holiday fireworks and also for a holiday parade, so I see Mark is in attendance, so what you got, Mark?
We got a whole lot happening December fifth. Friday, December fifth, we'll be bringing back the holiday lighted parade that Main Street Trail City's done for a number of years. We stopped it at COVID, and then the Santa Shining Lights took over at the park. We've had requests to bring the parade back every year since, so we'll bring the parade back 5:30 on December fifth. The only street closing we really need for any length of time would be, between our office and the chamber for the lineup. And then the parade itself is only probably gonna be 10 or 15 minutes in front of any particular residence. So those notifications went out today, and it's gonna go from Blunt to North Jackson, over Ferguson to Maine, down Maine to Clark, cut back over to North Jackson and back up to Blunt. And immediately following the parade will be the lighting ceremony for Santa Shining Lights in the park. And then about 6:20, we're gonna have we've done this for a number of years, our holiday fireworks show over the Main Street Bridge. So not nearly as involved as the 4th of July show. Just something to kick off the holiday. So we're looking forward to having the Main Street Bridge closed for about an hour beforehand for setup, and then it should be open within half an hour after the show.
Questions for Mark?
This has all been approved by the chief, I see, so should be good there.
We got proof of insurance today, and that got sent out to them.
I would move to approve.
Second.
Any other comments?
Just glad to see the holiday parade come back. The event in Central Park has always been a big hit since it started. And then you have the memory lane to go with it, so.
We're calling it Holiday Happening on the 5th, because we have those going on, the fireworks show. Foster grandparents are gonna bring back a soup supper, Plums Club that night, the art center will be open. And we're encouraging our Main Street businesses to consider being open a little later, take advantage of the crowds.
That's good. The foster grandparents doing that gives another food option down there for that, so. Look
It'll
forward
be a
to
lot
it.
of fun with that. Yes.
Comments?
Just hope it was really pretty one night, but I can remember the lighted parade. It was about 30 below and it was snowing. You felt like you were in a little snow globe, but my God, was it cold. Oh,
It was awesome unless you're trying to take photos.
it was pretty, but it was cold.
Clerk will call the roll.
Knighton,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Pittman.
Aye.
All right, Mark,
Thank you very much.
have a good evening. You too. Both tonight and December 5th, huh? Mark. Next up, then, we would consider a motion accepting the fiscal year 25 draft audit report from TP Anderson, and we have our representative Abby's here with TP Anderson, and I don't know if you, Brittany or Abby, have any comments?
Figured Abby'd start and I could fill in.
Sure. Yeah. Can you hear me, first of all?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So yeah, my name is Abby Schreck. I'm a CPA here at TP Anderson. I worked on the audit this year. So I was just going to go over a few things. Hopefully you all have this packet.
Yes, we do.
If not, that's okay. No big deal. So we're just going to go through this, most of it really quick, high level. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask or stop me along the way. So number one here, our responsibilities for the audit. The first thing is to plan and perform the audit under our professional standards and to provide assurance about whether the financial statements are free of material misstatement. We then form and express our opinion about whether they present fairly, the financial statements. And then our third responsibility is to communicate any significant matters to you, which is kind of the purpose for me being here tonight and for providing this packet of information. Management's responsibilities for the audit. Management is ultimately responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements. While we provide our non-audit service to assist with that, ultimately management is responsible, and you as governance, for the financial statements. Number 3 there, the city received an unqualified opinion. This is a clean opinion, so meaning that we concluded that the financial statements present fairly. Number 4, significant accounting policies. So there were 2 new GASB standards that were put into effect during this fiscal year. The first one being GASB 101 for compensated absences. So this kind of just changed the way that a compensated absence is measured. So meaning like accrued vacation, sick leave, personal time, that sort of thing. So as a cash basis city, you don't actually record the liability, but it is something that is disclosed in the financial statements as a note. So what it did was it said that a liability should be recognized for leave that's either been used for time off but not yet paid, or leave that has not been used if it is attributed to services that have been rendered, accumulates, and is more likely than not to be used. So that's kind of the biggest change there, the more likely than not. So typically, for example, sick leave, if the city doesn't have a policy to pay that out upon termination or retirement, let's say, this standard says, well, hold on a second. If they're more likely than not to use that sick leave, then we want you to disclose a liability for that. How we determined what that was just an estimate. We took a 3-year historical average of how much sick time was used by an employee and calculated the liability that way. So it did make for quite a change. The city's compensated absence liability was approximately $535,000 of accrued sick leave. So again, this is not a liability that's actually on the face of your financial statements, just something that is required as a disclosure. The second standard is GASB 102 for certain risk disclosures. This requires governments to assess whether there's a concentration or a constraint related risk that exists in the operating environment. An example of this might be if one of your utilities has a large customer or a customer that makes up a large portion of your revenue, but the kicker is only if you expect it. So like if you were to lose that customer, then the revenue of that utility would go down, but we only have to disclose any of that if it's expected for that to happen within the next 12 months. So we did not identify any additional constraints or concentrations to be disclosed. So that's the 2 this year. There is 1 standard coming up next year for financial reporting model improvements, kind of just changing the way certain things are presented in the financial statements. Number 5, the adjustments to the financial statements. So our professional standards require us to accumulate all known and likely adjustments. So there were a few corrected adjustments. The first one being to adjust fund balance in the amount of $671. So this was just a correct fund balance to tie to our amount last year. So pretty small entry, but it was required for our financial statements to reconcile. The rest of these are all to reclassify amounts between one account and another. So really it didn't change net income or anything like that, just to reclassify for instance, an interest payment to the interest account rather than from the principal account. So all reclassifying entries. On the next page, let's see. Okay, uncorrected adjustments. So there were adjustments that did not rise to the dollar amount threshold that we actually had to post an entry, but something that we do need to communicate to you. So both of them are related to leases. Certain lease payables were not discounted and disclosed in the financial statements. Because the city is on a cash basis, it's not required to actually report or disclose that. Or I'm sorry, record as liability, but is disclosed if necessary. The total of that was $59,806. And the same thing for a receivable. The total of that was $33,267. So these did not meet the thresholds for us to actually put in the notes, just to communicate to you. Number 6, internal control. There are 3 different levels of control deficiencies. The deficiency exists when a control does not allow management or employees to properly perform their duties. A significant deficiency, well, actually, let me start with material weakness. That's a deficiency in internal control that there's a reasonable possibility that there could be a material misstatement. And then a significant deficiency is less severe than that, but important enough to merit attention and to be communicated to you. So we did not identify any material weaknesses. We identified one significant deficiency for segregation of duties, which you've probably heard in years past. This is very common, especially for the size of city that Charles City is. And so it's just basically saying that there are not enough employees to delegate tasks to the extent that maybe they should be. So, one person might be writing a check and, making a bank deposit or that sort of thing. So it's super common. The city just needs to make sure they put in place as well of control as possible to segregate those duties. So that's the only significant deficiency we have. We do have a few other compliance type matters. So the first one, the disbursements during the year, the actual disbursements exceeded the amount budgeted in the debt service function. So we look at each different function, and that was the only one, and it was by a fairly small amount, if I recall correctly. The second one, related party transactions. We did not find any that were non-compliant, but it is always a good reminder to council to have extra due diligence when engaging with related parties. We did also note several funds that have a negative or a deficit balance. The city is aware of these and is working on, a lot of these are related to capital projects. So just the timing of funding and expenses or getting reimbursed for expenses has a great deal to do with that. Number 4, the water sinking fund balance was not fully funded as required by debt covenants. Brittany and I talked about this the other day, and she has a plan going forward to make sure that that is funded appropriately. Number 5, property taxes levied and collected for the purpose of providing employee benefits exceeded the actual amounts by almost $90,000, thereby creating an excess fund balance. So really with employee benefits, you don't want to have a large excess balance in there. Really what you levy should be close to what you need to cover those expenditures. So that's kind of something we've seen in a few different cities this year, and we're just communicating a little bit more to be mindful when you do your budget, to look at historical cost, that sort of thing, and levy what you truly will need for those expenses. And the last one there, IPERS enrollment, we noted that the city reported an employee's hire date to IPERS as 1 month earlier than the employee's actual hire date. So while this might not affect, the actual IPERS withholding for that employee, it can impact what the actuaries use to do their actuarial study for IPERS. So we wanted to make sure to communicate that to you and be mindful in the future of inputting the dates correctly. So those are what I have for the findings and the control deficiencies. The rest of this is kind of just financial information. I can go over if you like, or you can feel free to read that on your own. Towards the end here on the last page, just a couple other items to go over. The first one being the federal audit. The city was subject to a federal audit in the current year. The major program that was audited was the Section 8 Housing Choice Vouchers Program, which expended approximately $362,000. There were no non-compliance or findings related to that single audit. We did note also that the remainder of the ARPA funds have not been spent as of the end of this fiscal year. They must be spent by December 31st of 2026. So currently as of June 30th, there were about $1.2 million remaining in the ARPA funds. The single audit threshold starting in 2026 will increase to $1 million. So if all of that were to be spent in the next fiscal year, a single audit may be required. So we just wanted to make you aware of that. That is pretty much what I have. Does anybody have any questions or anything else they'd like to go over?
How's our general fund balance looking?
General fund, let me pull it up here. The general fund has about 3.8 million.
That's not all combined, that's just the actual general.
Yeah.
That's not-
Oh, yes, the actual general fund. Yep.
Yeah.
So we should be in pretty good, should be in pretty good shape with our requirement to have enough of excess funds in there to cover at least what, 3 to 6 months of operating?
Right. Yep. Yep. And overall, I guess just in total, I can pull it up here. So overall,
Yeah.
your net is, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Overall, net position increased just about 493,000. So overall, your net position for fiscal year 25 was $14,039,957.
Yeah, I was actually more interested in the true general fund
Yep. Yep.
balance, which you gave in the first place, so thank you.
Yep. That's not a problem.
So the one question I had as I was going through this, so we've divested ourselves from housing. And I think we're coming on our first year, correct? with
Yes,
that?
yep.
So when did we end our audit responsibility from them? Was this the carryover year? This is it, okay.
Yep. Yeah, they were in half of this last fiscal year, so. Abby, did you want to explain that this is just kind of a draft until?
Yes. So our single audit, the program that we audited, because of the federal government shutdown, there was from what I understand, I did not work on the single audit, but there is some reporting that could not be accessed during the shutdown, and I don't know that it has able to quite yet. So once Katie's able to get those reports, then we can finalize the single audit and finalize the audit overall.
So yeah, this has to stay draft form until that's done.
Yes. We don't anticipate there being any changes to the single audit, but we just, to make sure, we just wanted to issue a draft report for right now.
So this will be approved tonight, and if there are no changes, is there further approval required?
I'm not
Or
sure
would
on that.
So
I
if this
would-
is the draft audit, if you have a few things you need to complete, if council approves this tonight, is there further action council would need to take at a later date regarding the audit?
I might have to check on that. I would imagine the final report would need to be approved, but I can check with another partner in this office and let Brittany know on that.
I was planning on that,
Okay.
like a draft approval and then a final approval
Okay.
in December, or whenever we get it, just to say that you've seen all the information and.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't really anticipate the federal shutdown affecting our audit work, but here we are, I guess.
Yeah.
I will move to accept the draft audit.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Or call the roll.
Otto,
Aye.
Lumley,
I,
Friesman,
Aye.
Pittman,
Aye.
Knighton.
Aye.
I'd like to also thank Brittany and the rest of the staff at City Hall and Dan and whoever worked on this thing for all the time and effort. Takes a lot of time to complete an audit, so thank you.
Like it went pretty well, though, didn't it?
I felt bad. I told Abby, I said, I'm sorry. I said, I'm not sure and I don't know, probably 50 times.
Oh,
But I'm
no,
like,
no.
"Find
She
me
had,
out."
no, she was very
Oh.
helpful. And a lot of times with a new staff, it is a little difficult, but Brittany had a lot of answers. And so it went very smoothly.
Good. All right, well, thanks, Abby.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you,
You too.
same to you.
Well, next thing, consider the third reading of ordinance 1196. This is amending the code of ordinances, nuisance abatement procedure, nuisances enumerated, junk vehicles, definitions to junk vehicles. Brad, any comments on this one?
This is just the final step in making changes to our nuisance ordinance that started with the discussion and planning session several months ago. Our intent is just to make it a little easier on code enforcement to enforce nuisance abatement procedures.
Move to approve. Anything showed up to you, Brad, or any of the other staff?
I haven't received any comments.
I haven't heard it to think about it.
Anybody else?
No, I'm just excited to see this get the final reading and, a more sharper tool for code enforcement to use, especially with the junk vehicles and a couple cases with the, junk property.
No further comments, then we'll have clerk to call the roll.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Pittman,
Aye.
Knighton,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
So we will then have the third reading of ordinance 1196.
Ordinance number 1196, and ordinance amending the Charles City Code of Ordinances, chapter 50, nuisance abatement procedure, section 02, nuisances enumerated to include the outdoor storage of specified items as a nuisance condition, and chapter 51, junk and junk vehicles, subsection 01, definitions to modify the definitions of a junk vehicle and inoperable vehicle.
Thank you. Then we would consider a motion to adopt and publish ordinance 1196.
So moved.
Second.
We'll call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Pittman,
Aye.
Knighton,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Lumley.
Aye.
All right. Phoebe and I were at a Girl Scout group on Friday night, and they asked, do you guys make laws? So we just made a law, I guess.
Yeah.
So next up, we have consideration of motion to approve the fiscal year 27 TIF certification report.
I have that, so every December 1st, we have to certify to the county the amount of TIF we want to receive in the next fiscal year. Really, the only change from past years is we added the City Hall project to the Riverside TIF. Everything else you've seen before in past years. That's really the only new thing, and we'll get this taken to the county so we can get this TIF.
Questions for Dan? Kind of went over this the other night at our workshop session also.
There were no changes between the workshop and the ground. Move to approve.
I was second.
Any other comments? We'll call the roll.
Pittman,
Aye.
Knighton,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Next up, then we have a motion to approve the fiscal year 25 annual urban renewal report.
So we discussed this last Wednesday too, but like I said, then this is just looking back, like that's, the TIF certification is looking forward at the next fiscal year. This is what we have received and expended in the last fiscal year and all the TIF districts. The summary is the first page that it goes through everything, and then it's broken down by each urban renewal area, starting with Riverside. So, it started with a cash balance of $258,275 across the three funds. And we received $971,541, expended $1,013,296 for a cash balance of $216,520. The year-end outstanding TIF obligations, that is $12,443,392, and that includes all outstanding debt, interest and principal, also is any outstanding rebates, like payments to ADC, Main Street, all of those are all included in it, so. And this report is due to the state by December 1st.
I would move to approve the annual urban renewal.
Second.
Any other comments?
No, I just appreciate the in-depth discussion and overview last week during our planning session on the TIF certification and the urban renewal. So it's always a good refresher of where we are, what we're working with. So appreciate putting putting all the time and effort into that on top of an audit, on top of, hardware and software issues, so, please
We
pass
got it
along, thank you to the team.
Might have been a dumpster fire. No, it was okay.
Call the roll.
Knighton,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Longley,
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Pittman.
Aye.
And then the last one is the fiscal year 25 street finance report. Consider a motion for that.
This, kind of in the same regards as this was the last fiscal year, July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. And it's basically a full summary of all street related revenues and expenses over that time frame. There's also the outstanding street debt, current completed street projects for that fiscal year, and then the inventory of street equipment on there. Like I said, it includes general fund, road use tax, the special revenue is benefits, the CVTC. All of those are all in that. Yeah, because I think most of you know, but we do the finances for the Cedar Valley Transportation Center as well.
Questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any other comments on this one? Clerk will call the roll.
Otto,
Aye.
Lumley,
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Pittman.
Aye.
Knighton.
Aye.
All right, has anybody received any miscellaneous correspondence? Brad, anything else to report?
No, you're right.
Brittany, how about your report? Anything?
Just the upcoming meetings. We don't have anything else for November here. We will start December on December 1st with a regular meeting, and Tyler here and Dan both yet, so. Then we'll have a planning session on December 10th. So, next two coming up.
Very good. Dan, report from you tonight.
Sure, the biggest thing is, today we filed, a worksheet to say we want our bridge money for the Main Street Bridge. There's a revolving. The state keeps a big list of bridges, and as you come up, as your bridge gets bad, you keep moving up to the top. The worse your bridge gets, the higher priority list, so we're on the list. The first step is just to fill out that worksheet and say we intend to spend that within they say 3 years, but they give you extensions, so I think we're gonna be in there. There's really no downside to saying we're gonna use it now. What it does, the benefit is it generates a DOT project number, and it really starts getting the ball rolling on the Main Street Bridge. So, that's really the first step and to get everything started. Makes everybody aware that we're gonna do something with the bridge, and, they don't really care whether it's a rehab or a new bridge now. They just wanna start the process of saying, there's $1.5 million, so we're still gonna need, another 12 million or whatever. But $1.5 million from, this is all federal money with no match, so you get $1.5 million to put towards the project, and that helps you with the other financing too, if you know you already have $1.5 million, so. There's that, and, we're trying to schedule a meeting about the matrix. Philip, if you're listening, are you gonna be back on Thursday?
I will not.
When
Not
do you
this
get back?
Thursday, no. I'll be
Come on,
back
next Thursday.
on next Thursday. Yes, I'll be back next Thursday. Yes.
When do you get back?
I'll get back, probably Saturday night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll schedule something for next week, probably for that TIF certification talk discussion.
That'll work. Yeah, that'll work. Just let me know.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have.
Does anybody have any board or commissioner committee reports tonight? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.